Hello, welcome to the new video, and today's video we're going to take a look at the Scroll Cup. The Scroll Cup is going to be here available for the first and most likely only time in Pokemon Go. Why only time? Because of course this cup is based on the types that the Urshifu can have, which is going to be Fighting, Water, as well as Dark, which is going to be the only Pokemon that you're allowed to use here today. And this limits the meta quite a bit, and this makes it very unique. And so I would assume this is going to be the only time we're actually ever going to have the Scroll Cup, but we're going to have it for 2 weeks, so better be prepared. Because if you don't have Pokemon for the Master League, you otherwise have to skip 1 week, which I guess is also totally fine. Anyway, today we're going to take a look at an amazing team for the Scroll Cup. And the Scroll Cup is quite fast. We have 15 battles here today. We have 20 minutes of gameplay at 1.5 speed per, 1.8 speed per battle. We can kind of calculate on how long it took me to do 3 sets here today, which is only around like 37 minutes. And yeah, that is actually showcasing that this cup is quite fast, and also that this team is quite fast, but fast doesn't mean good. But this team is amazing. I went 13-2 with it. And not only this, I was able to get my starting ELO. I was able to, of course, if I go 13-2 and I got my starting ELO in the middle of it, I actually was able to improve my starting ELO quite a significant amount as well afterwards, which is going to be amazing. So this team is kinda good, of course, is kinda good. It is a very, very strong team. But yeah, basically, this team is going to allow you to do a lot of things. Basically, the backline of Sableye and the Morpeko is going to be kind of the best backline that you can have in the current meta. You're going to have the lead here of Annihilate. Annihilate lead is needed because you need it for Morpeko. Morpeko is kind of the Pokemon that you always kind of want to beat. You also need an answer for other fighting type Pokemon, which kind of forces Annihilate to be in the lead there as well. I actually had the same first with Azumarill in the lead, and then I was thinking about it and I was like, what am I going to do against Morpeko lead? And then I just decided to go for something that can counter it, which in this case is Annihilate. What you see also for our team is, our lead is weak to Charm, our safe stop is weak to Charm, our Pokemon in the back is weak to Charm. There are not a lot of Charm users in this meta, but those Charm users are very likely going to increase throughout the duration of this cup. I said it in the beginning, I said it in my top team video, which is going to be linked in the end card. I do think that this is going to be a meta where, it's going to be very stale later on, and a lot of people are going to play some toxic strategies. Which is not really ideal for a meta where you're going to have next to the Ultra League as well as the Master League, is it? Anyway, yeah, today we're going to take a look here at this meta. This meta is going to shift most likely quite a bit, but for the early meta, this team was absolutely amazing. 13-2, like, I cannot really say anything against that. That thing as well, you saw my last 2 videos before. I had Magcargo, I went 12-3 with this one. I had I actually forgot what it was. I think it was the Pidgeot, I was 12-3 with it. I had Venomoth, which really went well for me as well. And so basically my last 3 teams, including this one as well, 4 teams, were really, really good for me. And I went way positive with them. And so, well, I said already in the video and on my girlfriend's chat as well, my start of the season, I didn't really like. I wasn't really happy with it. It was by far my worst start to the season. The last few videos really went super well, and the teams on the videos really completely destroyed the meta the entire time, which made me kind of hopeful for my starting ELO. And I can tell you already, I was really happy with my starting ELO, especially after such a rough start into the season. The last few videos and the last few teams really kind of pushed me very high up there. And also towards the starting ELO, I saw someone today on Twitter getting their starting ELO as well. And this was the highest starting ELO I have ever seen in Pokemon Go that early on. So shout out to you, but they had an 86% win rate, which is ridiculous. But yeah, we sadly don't know the team or anything like this, so I cannot really showcase anything towards it. But having an 80, like they started off at, by the way, 2,629, which is really, really high for especially like 1 week in or like 1.5 weeks in. That is the highest I have ever seen. But yeah, we're not gonna start that high. Spoiler alert, I'm not gonna be there. Also, of course, if you have to change your teams the entire time, it's not gonna make it better. But yeah, that is, I'm still getting starting ELO where I'm really, really happy with. So yeah, let's see. We're going to have here the Sableye against us though. We're going to commentate a little bit about the team. The team is a bit interesting to play. You really kind of actually need to be careful with your Sableye. if you go down shields with your lead, it could be problematic. If you have certain matchups, they could be problematic for the backline. So while we have a team that's quite, of course, more towards like the dark and ghost typing here, there are going to be some things that you have to kind of note with it. Annihilate is very important. Actually, every single Pokemon on the team is really important because, yeah, if you don't have the energy management right, if you don't have these certain Pokemon right, it's going to be a bit difficult here. For example, we are going to lose this battle here, which is one of the 2 battles that I lost here, because, yeah, the opponent actually had... I think actually I would have been able to win this if I played it a little bit better. Anyway, we're going to have here Chestnut against us. They could let the move go through here, which they do as well, and so we're going to be forced to now go for the full farm run against the opponent, which is totally fine. We will see the shield coming up from me, superpowers coming in. That is going to work out quite well, and they swap out into the Sableye. This is the thing. Sableye can be quite a bit of a painful thing to deal with, and we see it here. My Sableye is now behind energy compared to the opponent, which forces me to use no shield here, which makes that all a little bit more awkward. But luckily, I get the opponent kinda low, which kinda hopefully allows us to have a great time later on with our own Morpeko, but they have their own Morpeko in the back as well. Yeah, Sableye, Morpeko backline is going to be just a very, very common one. And what we're gonna do is, we're going to have to go into our own Morpeko. I know that I can still survive one. I should survive with quite a bit of HP as well, but I should be able to now use my Annihilate to hopefully knock them out. I will actually have to use this shield, and luckily, they don't decide to swap out, they stay in here, which allows me to get some more damage in against the Sableye and win this battle for us. Blastoise was not something I expected and thus not something I even like thought about. But of course it does make sense, it is the water type, which Urshifu can also take on as well, so that makes a lot of sense. Scroll Cup, by the way, I think is because of the way you evolve this Pokemon in the main CS games. I think there are like some scrolls that you have to press on to evolve your Cupfu into Urshifu. But yeah, we're going to be able to at least align ourselves here. I can go for even an Ice Punch against the Mandibuzz, which is going to be kind of nice for us as well. And so what we will see here next is that we can go for a ton of fast move pressure and still force the opponent to go for a charge move at the same time. It's going to be, of course, the Aerial Ace, which is going to be easily enough to knock us out. And they are going to swap out into the Primeape. Here's the thing, we have one Pokemon that does a lot of fast move pressure, which we're going to take advantage of, which is going to be the Shadow Sableye. And we need that fast move pressure, and thankfully, the debuff really is going to help us with that. We will see here Raichos coming through. This is going to allow us to still take the one at least, and we can go for our own foul play. But now we have to get some more fast move pressure in, and that's why we decide to use a shield here, because I was feeling that this is my best play. They still have to go for another charge move then afterwards. And yes, they're going to be able to do a ton of damage against the Morpeko, but I feel like Morpeko might have still enough play here against the opponent. We have to see here if this is going to work out for us. And it is the decide to forfeit here. Drapion is, generally speaking, a good matchup for us. It's not a matchup that you guarantee win all the time, but like it is a matchup that he can play out. Crunch is going to be, of course, a neutral hit and does a lot of damage. Like we have Shadow, which is going to make it a bit more awkward. I think this matchup is a little bit easier as a non-Shadow Annihilate because it allows you to just take hits a little bit easier. But we can catch a Crunch here as well, which is going to be fine. Getting out the Gustlet from the opponent and still hitting an Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel is going to still do a ton of damage, even though it's resisted. It is such a hard-hitting move to put them now down to half health. I could go ahead and go for the full farm down here if I wanted to. We decide to use a shield up. Brutal Swing is coming through, and we can go for the full farm down. And let's see what is coming in. And next is going to be the Toxapex. We're going to try our best here. We're going to go for one charge move to try to boost our own attack stat. And we swap out now actually into our Sableye because we need to get some damage in here with the Shadow Claw plus Foul Play. Foul Play is coming through. We're going to get them kind of low with that. And as we will see, they're going to go for the charge move. We can guarantee still survive this one. They have to go for 2 Brine anyway here to do anything. And they swap out into the Drapion, but sadly they have a little bit too much HP still left. I am forced to go for a charge move here, and this is going to allow us to hopefully still get to another move, but I'm not too sure about it. Well, let's see, it's going to be the Brine, and I actually still survive with 1 HP, and I still have a move start, so no matter what is going to be happening here, if we're going to go down, it doesn't matter, we're still going to be able to win the battle here, and so we can move on to the next opponent. Next up, we're going to have the Quagsire coming in against us. We had a very solid lead there with the Swilers, and I need to keep my lead alive for the Swilers, because as you can see here, yes, we're going to be fine with our Sableye has a ton of energy, but anything else is going to be very difficult for us to deal with the Swilers there. But we're going to be able to keep alignment, and that is going to always win the game already for us as well, and they decide just forfeit, and we can move on to the next opponent. Manabus is going to be very, very good for us, because we're going to still have Ice Punch there. Of course, we would have rather this Pokemon against our Morpeko, but I'm not too sure on how we're going to play this. Maybe I'm going to try to swap out here into the Sableye. I do decide to do that, trying to catch the Aerial Ace onto this boy, which is going to work out quite well. The opponent is going to decide to stay in here though, which is something that I did not expect. I was expecting fully that they would swap out of here. Dark Pulse is coming through. And as we will see here, we can just go for the Dazzling Gleam to take the KO here, which you're very likely going to be able to do exactly. And so now in comes the Drapion. We can go for another foul play. That is going to be fine here. This is going to allow us to get them kinda low. We can go into the own Annihilate here. They can go for a charge move. I let the crunch go through, and now it is down to our friend, the Morpeko. I'm gonna go for the bait here, hoping that the opponent would fall for it, and they do. And now it's down to Morpeko to win us this battle. Can we actually still do that? We have to try to really, be faster to the charge move as the opponent. I'm not too sure we're going to be able to do it here, but we have a ton of Psychic Fangs already stored, so one Psychic Fangs is coming through there. That's going to allow us to get them kind of low, of course, in terms of the defense there. We are forced to use a shield here, and so it is really depending here if you're going to still be able to win this battle. It's going to be very close. We can go for the Psychic Fangs, which is going to be super nice for us. Let's see what they're going to do next. They decide to take another move here. They will have got another charge move, and they will have knocked us out, but it doesn't matter, because as we will see here, Psychic Fangs is going to be enough, and we will have also the Drapion here, which is going to be a Pokemon where we're going to just catch the hit onto our Annihilate, which is so important, because otherwise we would have not had a chance here of winning this one for sure. And so here we're going to be able to win, and we can move on to the next opponent. Chestnut in the lead. That is going to be up against the last EOIC winner here, by the way. So yeah, Chestnut in the lead is going to be interesting. Also interesting here is the play of them going for the superpower, because they know that I'm forced to basically use a shield anyway, and they just go for the move that takes a little bit less energy, which is very smart by them. They know what they're doing here, not too surprised. They won the last regional. But I also know what I'm doing, of course, and I'm going to try my best of doing everything here with our own, what's called Primate, Annihilate there, basically. Primate here from the opponent, gonna get kinda, destroyed by our own Sableye. Even though they were boosted, we were still able to take the hit. And we can go for a Dazzling Gleam to just knock them out if we are allowed. We are not. They are gonna use a shield, and now it's down to our own, our own Annihilate. But luckily, we're going to be able to win this Team Peter here, which is really cool, because they can get the KO. And in comes the opponent's Annihilate, and with this regional winner and what's EOIC winner, it doesn't really matter. We're still going to be able to win this team, like this game here, without even showcasing our final Pokemon, I think. Next up, we're going to have 5 more battles to go here. I have a little bit of a longer video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you enjoyed the longer format, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like on the video. But anyway, let's take a look at this one. We're going to have the Drapion against us. We're going to go for the Ice Punch. We need to kind of, weaken them a little bit. And we will see here why this is going to be very good for us. They swap out into the Gastrodon, and we can still go for another charge move here with the Rage Fist, boosting ourselves up, and we can swap out into the Sableye. Sableye is going to be able to kind of wall the opponent, which is going to be great. But Earth Power is the only thing that kind of scares me here, which is coming through from the opponent. We're going to be able to overfarm by quite a lot here, and so we're going to decide to actually let the move go through. It is going to be the Body Slam, which is really lucky, and we can still go for the full farm down. As we will see here, we have a ton of energy. We're gonna go for the charge move here. It's going to be the foul play. This is hopefully getting the shield from the opponent, which it does. And I go straight for the Dazzling Gleam, but they catch the move. And you might think this game is over now. But let's see here, we're going to be able to actually get the shield from the opponent, which is going to be so great for us, because now we can actually just go into the Morpeko, get an energy advantage. We needed this one as well. Now we can go for the Aura Wheel. This is doing so much damage against the opponent's Annihilate, nearly one-shotting them, and we can just go for the Thunder Shock, and down we can use a shield here as well, allow us to guarantee win the battle. And we can move on to the next one. Annihilate against Lostheart, and here we go with the Charmers. The Charmers are starting to come, but this is the best Charmer for us to face, because we're gonna be able to do super effective damage against them, and with that we're going to be able to align ourselves correctly, which is going to be really, really nice. Raichu is coming through, getting the shield from the opponent. All okay, they're running Waterfall, which is quite interesting, but not too worrisome here. We will see here the shield coming up though for us. It's going to be, of course, up. Oh, not near. We have an area. It's not next to. That's kind of interesting. We can go for the Oriole in order to try to destroy the opponent, which does work out. Not really. So we're gonna be forced to kind of go for another move, and this is going to knock them out guaranteed. So I guess it's kind of working here for us. We will see that they're gonna have the Melom on the back, and we know that we win this battle here, so we can just skip to the next one, because yeah, that's going to be fine. Yeah, though, I'm gonna be able to get my starting ELO, so it's going to be in the middle of it all. We have to catch all of the encounters as you see as well. I went 5-0 with this team here. At least we're going to be able to catch them all in one ball. And with this, we're going to move on and we see our starting ELO here. Not the end of the video though. It's 2,351 and I'm super happy with it. And spoiler alert, I'm now currently at 2,400. I might drop a little bit though for the next video because so far the team that I tried out, I'm currently 1-3 for the Open Ultra League. I have to see if it's still going to pick up pace. It could definitely well be the case, but right now I'm actually in a position before the video where I try to find opponents. It took me 10 minutes to find one opponent, which is kind of mad. So I would assume that my ELO as well is currently really good. But yeah, it's going to be a bit easier to find opponents starting even tomorrow because currently a lot of people just went ahead and did all of their sets basically, yeah, already before when the Open Great League. So yeah, a lot of people are not really that interested in this one. I made a poll, by the way, on YouTube now, so definitely check that one out. If I want to just see what league you kind of want to play a little bit more, like is the Ultra League, is it going to be this cup here, the Scroll Cup? I just made a poll on YouTube to know on what is going to be a bit more interesting for my channel. I will try out to do basically both on my channel, kind of equally, like once a day for each of them. And looking at the votes currently, it's 350 votes and it's currently 49 for Scroll Cup and 51 for Ultra League. So yeah, it kind of showcased that a lot of people like kind of both of them kind of equally. But let's move on to the next opponent here. There was the other loss that I had here against the Lucario, but also mainly against the Charmer and the Lead. And Charmer and the Lead are just basically impossible to deal with for us. Here we're going to be able to go for the Oriole. You kind of want to, of course, play out those kind of matchups. Otherwise, it is always kind of nice to keep your Sableye in a position where it's more beneficial for itself. Sableye in a position where it's more beneficial for itself is really important. Also thanks to the Dazzling Team. Sableye has so much play in the current meta, and so if you position yourself out well with that Pokemon, it's going to be very much easier for you to win battles. Get an energy advantage, get a shield advantage. Either of them is kind of really good for this Pokemon in the current meta, because barely anybody is going to play any Charmer right now. This, again, is going to change. Predict me for that one. It's definitely going to change. Well, you will see definitely a shift eventually towards Charmer. Yeah, Biron, for example, which you saw in the video before, like in the game before, Biron is going to be basically an instant loss for this team. It is going to be too strong for our lead to deal with. That's what I want to say. Unless, of course, they let go Raichus, which they can do, but like it's really rarely the case. So yeah, here we all see the opponent going to have the Gastrodon, which is going to be fine because you're going to be able to go for some yeah, charge moves here again. The opponent decides to go for the Earth Power, knock us out, and now we can go for the full farm down with that Annihilate. The opponent is going to go for the charge mode. It's not going to be just the Body Slam here, and we have to try to get to another Ice Punch, which we can. And so the Shadow Annihilate is going to be able to win us this battle. Final battle here, we're going to have the Annihilate against the Guzzlord. That is going to be a matchup where it's going to be okay for us. We have a little bit of lag here, but we can now just go for the Rage Fist, which is going to boost, of course, our own attack, but they might use a shield here thinking it's going to be something bigger, but it isn't. And so we're going to have to let the move go through. We're going to still survive this one just barely, and we can not farm them down. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of an awkward one. Morpeko here is also not going to be able to farm down. So, like, what am I doing here? This is not really looking good. It is going to be the Drancor coming in comes the Morpeko, where we're going to be able to go for the Oriole against doing some nice solid damage. We sadly cannot swap out yet here either because our backline is going to be a bit better against this Pokemon. But as you see here, we're going to have the Psychic Effects coming through. They are going to let the move go through. So, like, this is kind of gone anyway. So I'm here with 1 HP. But, yeah, let's see on how this is gonna go. We will see here the charge moves are hopefully coming through soon. We're gonna have here the Toxapex on the back, and this is going to be perfect because this is exactly where I need the Sableye for to beat those Toxapex. Toxapex are a little bit more of my nemesis here, especially for this meta as well. And so yeah, I really like to destroy this one completely, and as you see, this is working out really well, and that's the kind of thing here. We will have the shield coming up. This is going to be a brine, and so I am actually expecting kind of that yeah, not everything, like that they're gonna try to catch the move here, which did not work out for them. And with this, we're gonna be definitely able to win the battle, which is kind of nice here. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, copy this team here if you need a good team for the current Scroll Cup, and I will see you then. Bye bye.